and welcome to Pearls of Paradise. My name is Courtney and I'm coming to you from Parma, Ohio, where I live with my husband and all of our yarn. Today is Friday, January 20th. It is cold and snowy here, just the way I like it. So welcome. If you're new here, a big welcome to you. And if you're returning, welcome back. I'm so glad that you've decided to join me for about an hour for knit chat and some fun. If you are interested, I am most active over on Instagram, although I've been a little less active lately, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But you can find my Instagram, Ravelry, and my Pokemon Go friend code down below if you're interested in any of those things. I'd super appreciate it if you would like and subscribe if you enjoy this video, and leave me a comment and let me know what you're working on, or just say hi, let me know where you're from. All right, so this week I don't have a lot of new knitting to show. We'll just get that out of the way up front. As a lot of you know, I've been participating in the Cozy Up Knits Mystery Knit Along, which kicked off technically January 1st, but the pattern Clue 1 was released on December 31st. So most of my knitting time lately has been spent on that, which is why I haven't been as active over on Instagram, because it's a little hard to show. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll show that in a little bit. But that's why I haven't been as active, and I don't have a lot of new knitting. That being said, I thought it would be fun this week to go through my, I talked about this, I think, last time, maybe, my WIP 9 2023 Bingo Challenge card. So this is a year-long make-along to get your WIPs finished, and it's hosted by Fangirl Fibers and Yarnaceous. I'll hold this a little closer just so that you can see. There is a Discord group. It is really fun. If you'd like to be added, reach out to Yarnaceous over on Instagram. So I thought we would kind of go through this, and I would talk about which WIPs I've chosen for each of the categories. So that's coming up in a little bit, but first we have a couple of other things I want to talk about. What I'm wearing today, this was the 2019 Turkey Trot Mystery Knit Along by Marley Bird. And I love mystery knit alongs. I think they're really fun. I rarely am able to actually keep up with them and get them done by the deadline, but I get really excited about them. I think they're really fun. And if you don't know what a mystery knit along is, if you're new here or new to knitting, it's where a designer releases a clue each week or month or however they're doing it at different intervals. Sometimes you know what you're making, but you don't know what it's going to look like. Other times you don't have any idea what you're making, and it's kind of a surprise. And through each clue, as you knit each portion of the pattern, you kind of discover what you're making. Anyways, I think they're really fun. I love them. And so you're going to notice I have a lot of unfinished mystery knit alongs. But this was 2019 Turkey Trot. Marley does a mystery knit along Thanksgiving weekend every year. And I think this was the first, this was the first one of her Turkey Trots. It might have been the first one she did, but it was definitely the first one I participated in. So it is this, I can't really stand up. I can try to show you guys. It's this poncho. It's got these gorgeous drop stitches. You can kind of see an eyelet rose, and it's knit in Caron Latte cakes. And it's a great pattern. This was, I think, my first, I think it was my first like adult garmenty kind of pattern. And it was really fun to knit. If you're interested, Caron latte cakes usually are out like this time of year. I think I got them at Michael's. I got them at Michael's. But this is the time of year usually that they're out and to look for them. So this is, the colorway was Mineral Vineyard, and I had enough left over. I haven't made it yet, but I have a hat I'd like to make out of this yarn. It is acrylic and polyamide, which is not normally anymore my go-to, but this is so cozy and so soft and so fuzzy. I love this. I hadn't worn it in quite some time. It had gotten pushed to the bottom and back of a drawer. And this morning when I was trying to decide what to wear on the podcast to show you, I pulled this one out and I was like, oh, I forgot how much I love this. So I would highly recommend this pattern. I would say it's decently beginner friendly. I've been saying a lot, sorry guys. But I would recommend it. It's a great pattern. It is, I believe, still free on Marley's blog at marleybird.com. And I'll link this down below. I try my best to link patterns and yarns in the description box. So if you're interested in any of what I talk about, you should be able to find it there. I do believe it's free on her website still with ads. And if you want an ad-free PDF, you can find that on Ravelry. So anyways, oh, and there is a crochet version for this one. I don't think there was a Tunisian crochet version, but there's definitely a regular crochet version of this. And it may not be exactly the same, but I know there's a crochet version. This is the knitting version, and I love this. So if you need just a big, cozy, poncho-y kind of thing, check this out. All right, that's what I'm wearing. And before we talk about WIPs, there's such a big pile over here, I want to introduce you all to Stellina. My brother decided that we need a mascot for our podcast, and I've talked a little bit about why flamingos are a thing even though I live in Northeast Ohio. And we went to the zoo last Sunday and spent a lot of time looking at the animals, including the flamingos. And he got me this plushie, and I named her Stellina. He decided that we needed a flamingo mascot for the podcast. So here she is. She's going to be hanging out in the background, I think. Ooh, she looks a little sad like that. She's tired. It's fine. Anyway, so that is Stellina, and I just thought I'd mention that. All right, let's look at WIPs. I do have one new cast on. And I neglected to mention my one stash edition last time. I told you all that I didn't receive any yarny gifts for Christmas, and that was not quite true. I felt bad. I totally forgot. My husband bought me a new project bag, and I had seen this and really wanted it, and he surprised me with it. So the bag is by Fate's Thread, and it's all if you're into Pokemon, it is all the different evolutions. And I just love this fabric. I think it's so pretty. And it's just a little bag for a sock or a one, maybe two skein shawl. And I just love it. I think it's so, so pretty. And of course it's Pokemon, which if you're new here, I love Pokemon. I love Pokemon Go very specifically. I'm really into that. So very excited about that. And also, if you're new here, we are very into themes, and we are also very into Disney. So this is a sock, just a vanilla plain sock. A vanilla sock, if you are new to knitting or knitting podcasts, is just not really a patterned sock, often knit just however the knitter prefers. So I do mine 64 stitches on a US 1.5 needle, 2x2 ribbing for the cuff, and I usually do a slip stitch heel. I knit cuff down, slip stitch heel flap. So anyways, the black is Knit Pick Stroll, just in black that I had for the cuff. And then let me get my fingers out of the way here. The yarn is Prince Ali Ababwa, and that is by Fangirl Fibers. And you all know I love Fangirl Fibers. And this was one of her Disney Yarn of the Month Club colorways from last year. And I will, at the end in Stash Editions, be showing the final installment in that club. It was a year-long club, and that is ended. I have opted for the time being not to sign up for any yarn clubs this year. We all know that that could change. We all know me. But I am trying to use up my stash a little bit more and save some money to buy yarn at some shows and things, which we'll talk about in a little bit because there is a yarn show coming up in a few weeks in my area that I'm very excited about. So anyways, again, bag by Face Thread, yarn by Fangirl Fibers, just a vanilla sock. I had a couple of work meetings and webinars over the past couple weeks and just needed something to knit on in those. So not too exciting, but there we are. So that is my only new cast on. I have no finished objects. So we're going to go ahead and get into the bingo board. I will show my mystery knit along for Cozy Up once I get to that point. I will let you know. So there will be a spoiler alert if you're knitting it too and you're not quite where I am. So let's take a look. So here's our board. So we'll just, we'll start here. So actually, you know what? No, I know what we're going to do. So because these are all in a pile, I'm just going to pull a project bag and I'll tell you what it is and where we're putting it on our board. So we'll go with this one, which is, so we have my Pumpkin Spice Junkie bag, and I don't remember who this is by. And inside we have my WIP that probably has the least progress on it. And this is my 2 skein project. And it is the Mammatus shawl by, her name is escaping me, Gabrielle Matthews. That's right. And she has a podcast on YouTube as well. And I have test knit for her a couple of times. So I did originally make one of these for myself and test knit that last year around this time. And I made mine in a bamboo cotton blend, maybe. I don't remember. Anyways, and it was blue and green and teal, like navy, teal, green. It was really pretty. And my husband loved it. So he asked for one. So I did cast on not earlier this year. I keep forgetting that we've turned the year. Last year, and I am knitting him a Mammatus shawl. And this is what we have so far. I started it and I think I got to the next section, the next stitch pattern section, and it's one where you need to pay a little more attention. And I had been knitting this in the car and wasn't in a space where I could really look and pay attention and read a pattern. So I didn't, and I put it away. And that was that. It didn't get any more work done on it. So I am knitting this out of 100% British wool, the West Yorkshire spinners, fleece, Blueface Leicester, DK weight, and it's going to be blue, gray, and green. The gray, this one is Fossil, And the green is forest, and the blue, I don't know what this blue is, but it'll be linked down below if you're interested. So those are his colors that he chose. He, at last year's, the show that I'm going to in a couple weeks I'll talk about later, but it's Wild and Woolly. And when we went last year, we set a budget, and I was like, okay, I'll stick to it. That's fine. We walk in, we did one lap, we didn't even make it around the building, and he pulled these three together and was like, I'm raising the budget. This is for me. Can you knit me one of those shawls? I'm like, sure. I was test knitting it at the time, and he loved it. So he chose these colors himself, and I really should probably get more done on this, but it's been a whip, and that's what I'm hoping the bingo board will do. And I'm hoping this episode will inspire you and inspire me to get some of these whips that maybe we were more excited about when we cast on off our needles. If that's what you're doing this year. I'm really excited about it. So anyways, first thing, that's the Mammatus by Gabrielle Matthews. All right, let's see. Next, we'll go to, I guess we'll just keep going. So, another Pokemon bag. We're not surprised, are we? No. My husband got me this one, I think for Christmas last year. And here, my brother got me the keychain to put on it. And the bag is by, I don't know who. Sorry. Since it was a gift, I'm really not sure. But living in here is the, I'll show you. This is my gift knit. So on our board, we've looked at our 2 skein project, which is a gift for my husband, but that's not the gift knit. And I put it at, oh, that's another thing I should mention. I put the Mammatus as a 2 skein project because I will end up using 2 full skeins of yarn. It won't quite use up all 3 skeins, and how they're doing the skein projects is as long as it weighs 200 grams or more for 2 skeins, as long as it weighs 300 grams or more for 3 skeins, that sort of thing. So that's why that one's a 2 skein project, even though it has 3 skeins of yarn. And this one is my gift knit. So I don't know if you can see that. I apologize. I was going to print out a color copy at work yesterday, and the day got away from me, and it just didn't happen. So I had to use my home printer, which only does black and white. So this is Man's Zippered Vest, and I apologize. I forgot to grab the magazine that this pattern is in. I want to say it's a Knitting Simple from 2016, maybe. Anyways, it's by Jaqueline Van Dillen, I think. I'll link it all below. But anyways, Man's Zippered Vest. So this has been on my needles for a while. And I am almost done with the back panel. And it's hard to show it on camera, but it has this gorgeous cable running up the back on both sides. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now you can see it. It's got this cable. I believe the same cable runs up both sides of the fronts, but I haven't gotten that far. We've got some like squishy ribbing, and it is going to be so nice. I've knit my husband a couple of vests in the past, and he wears them all the time and loves them. So I know he'll get a lot of wear out of this one. And especially since this one does have a zipper down the front, I think it'll be a little more casual than his other 2, and almost kind of jacket-like, you know? So I need to get on this one though. I would love to have this done. Our 10th wedding anniversary is coming up in April. I wonder if I can get this done in time. He watches, so he'll know. So Mason, no promises. But oh, that'd be perfect. That might inspire me to finish this one too. Yeah, so not a whole lot more to say about this. I haven't worked on it in quite some time, so I don't remember a ton of details. I can tell you what the needle size is, maybe. Size 8 needle, and I do have the ball band for the yarn in here. So the yarn I'm using, I believe I let him choose the yarn. I don't remember for sure, but I'm pretty sure I let him choose. And it is Wool of the Andes Tweed in the worsted weight in the colorway Lighthouse Heather. And you can't really tell on camera, I don't think. It's like this dark charcoal, but it's got sometimes in the right light, like a bluish greenish overtone almost. It's really, really pretty. So anyways, Man Zippered Vest by, I think, Jaqueline Van Dillen. And that is my gift knit. I'm not really sure why I haven't picked this one back up. Because looking at it now, I'm so close to being done with that back panel. And the fronts won't take nearly as long. And I remember the back, once I got going, knitting up pretty quickly. So we'll see. Maybe I'll try to get that done for our anniversary. That would be really nice. Or at least more progress on it. That would also be really nice. But I have another garment that I also want to get done as soon as I possibly can. And that is going to take the place of, and we are bopping around all over on this sheet, the 3 or more skein project. And that is my Ranunculus. So I'm doing a casual knit along on this with my friend Mac. And I started first. And then she's never knit a sweater before. This is her first sweater. I had knit myself another one as my first sweater for myself. I had knit baby sweaters and stuff before, but never an adult sweater. And so I started and I got most of the way through the yoke, and then I stopped because she hadn't cast on yet. And I didn't want to get so far ahead that if she needed help that, you know, and then I haven't picked it back up because I've been working on this mystery knit along that I'll talk about whenever I get to that one. But here's what I have so far. I can't remember if I've made progress since I last showed this or not. I have it on it's very scrunched up on my needles, so I apologize. I'm not going to be able to spread it out a whole lot. Oh, you can see it though. Oop, there we go. It's blowing out a little. It's not that, I don't know, mossy, I guess. Though the colorway is moss. There we go. And if you've been around the knitting world for a while, you've seen the Ranunculus. It's a very popular pattern. I love this pattern. The yoke is so much fun. The whole thing is just a blast to knit and looks good on everyone. Everyone looks good in the Ranunculus. I just love it. So this is mine. I definitely need to put more work in on this. Ideally, this is a pie in the sky. I don't know how realistic this is. I would really like to have this done at the end of February. One of my goals for the year is also to knit 4 sweaters this year. So this is kind of my Q1 sweater. At the very latest, I'd like to have it done by the end of March. But, sweaters for myself, by the way. Just baby sweaters. I'm going to have at least one of those that I'll be knitting this year. And a sweater vest for my husband does not count. So I'd like 4 sweaters for myself. And this is my Q1 one. And I would love to have it done by the end of February, beginning of March. It'd be great. This would be a great sweater for St. Patrick's Day. With that green, be perfect. So I'm knitting this out of Scout by Kelbourne Woolens. It's 100% wool. It's a DK weight. And I believe, if I'm right, the colorway is Moss Heather. So it does look kind of mossy. this is a better color representation, I think, right here. So that is my Ranunculus, and that is by Midori Hirose. I don't think I said that. Everybody knows the Ranunculus pretty much. If you don't, I would highly recommend looking it up. It's a beautiful pattern. If you have never knit a sweater before, I would also recommend this. Is a great first sweater pattern. It's a top-down yoke and raglan, and the yoke is textured. It's so much fun. It's just a really, really fun sweater to knit, and there are so many options. You can knit it in different weights for different looks. It's just such a versatile pattern, and I absolutely love it. My first one I knit was in the original pattern, which was not sized. I think it was one size fits all, and I'm knitting this one in the new version, which has sizing. I have not selected a size yet. I need to pick one, but I haven't gotten to the point where that comes into play. So I haven't had to commit to a size yet. This is living in this bag. I don't think there's a tag on here, and my husband bought it for me, and a matching Notions pouch for Christmas last year. So I don't know the maker, but it's really beautiful and the perfect wintry bag. So that is my 3 or more skein project. And let's go with this guy. This is, now we'll be next to something. So this is my mystery project bag. I don't tend to have bags that I don't know what is inside. I tend to remember what I put in a bag, but I will say every time I've looked at this one, I've gone, what's in here again? And it's taken me just a second to kind of figure it out. So that is my mystery project bag. What other people are doing is mixing up their project bags and letting a friend or a partner choose a project bag as theirs, or it's supposed to be one that you don't know what's inside. So I figured this one, since I keep looking going, wait, what do I have in there again? That was close enough. So this is my Turkey Trot mystery knit along from 2022 that I didn't get done because I was working on those. If you've been around a while, I knit stockings for 3 of my nibblings, my nieces and nephew. And I'm losing stitches like mad here. Hang on one second. Let me pick these up. Oh no. Okay, well, just ignore the really dropped stitches. We're just not gonna look at that part. But I got them on the needle. I'll fix it later. So anyways, this is my 2022 Turkey Trot mystery knit along, and this is another one I really would like to get some work in on. It's so beautiful, and these colors are out of my norm for what I usually knit. I usually gravitate towards, oh, look how pretty this is. I had sort of forgotten what this looked like. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. I normally knit neons and bright colors, and this is more muted, but oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Wow. I had completely forgotten like the colors. I knew there was blue in here, but so I guess it is a mystery project bag a little bit. And I mean, look at these floats. Look at those floats. Anyway, 2022 Turkey Trot by Marley Bird. This one I don't believe is free on her blog anymore. I think she has it on her Marley Bird House website. I'm not entirely sure. I have it saved on my phone, so I believe it's only a paid pattern over there. And I'm not even 100% sure it's still available over there. Sometimes she'll put patterns back in the vault and then they get re-released later for purchase. So if it is available, I will link it down below. But oh, this is gorgeous. It's like a top down kind of, or top down, bottom up kind of like bandana style cowl. And I'm very excited about this now. I wasn't before. I'm so sorry. I cannot stop looking at this. It is so pretty. Anyways, I need to get working on that for sure. It is knit in Knit Picks limited edition Upcycled Alpaca blend worsted weight. And the tan is the Parchment colorway. The brown is Biscotti, and the blue is Azul. So I would hold these up, but they're balls, so they're a little bit loose here. There's one. They come in these balls. It's soft, but not, I mean, sometimes alpaca to me feels soft, but like, I'm not coming up with the right word. This feels a little sturdier. There we go. This feels a little sturdier, but still really soft. So there we have that. And oh, the bag. I should mention that. I don't know if she still makes bags anymore, but this is by Ginger Root Bags. And I love this sweater bag. It's got, it's a nice drawstring. It's got batting, so it's nice and squishy. And it's got this nice little cork handle too. So anyways, that's my mystery project bag. And I think that brings us to the halfway point. Yes. So let's go with the center, which is Cast On That Pattern You Bought in 2022. I've talked about this one on the podcast before. I've said I'm going to start it. I think this is going to be my spring equinox cast on, because it's cotton. So I am going to knit the Magnolia Lane cardigan, and I don't know the designer's name. I know her handle is Crafts Everywhere. So on Instagram, at Crafts Everywhere. Again, I apologize that it's in black and white, but it's just this like short sleeved, relaxed fitting cotton cardigan that will be perfect for spring and summer. And I'm going to be knitting it in We Are Knitters the Cotton, which is 100% Peruvian Pima cotton. And the color is showing up way brighter on the screen than it is in real life. It is not really red. It's more of a burnt orange. It is not red. It's showing up as almost like a orangey cherry red, and it is not at all like that. But anyways, I bought quite a few balls of this from Mega of Skeins of Dreams. And she was doing a de-stash, and I got these, and I had had this in my queue for quite a while. And the terracotta colorway is this color, and that's the color that the sample is knit in, and I really wanted it. So that was perfect. And I cannot wait to get that cast on. So that will be my spring equinox cast on for sure. Okay, back to the whips. We'll go with this guy. So this is, you guys have seen this, and every time I show it, I'm like, this doesn't look that different. But this is, the bag is by Twisted Yarn and Fiber, and it's my autumn coffee bag. A lot of my bags are seasonal, but I use them whenever, especially this one is such a generous size. And this is my, I'm all over the place. This is my 3 skein project. So once again, it uses more than 3 skeins, but that's okay. As long as it's 300 grams or more, it'll be fine. So this is my Vertices Unite by Stephen West. I don't think I ever moved the Progress Keeper. I don't think this is new progress, although it could be, but I don't think so. And I'm still on section 1. This hasn't gotten a lot of love lately. I just haven't, I've wanted to knit on it, but I've had other things I needed to knit on, so it hasn't gotten a lot of work. But this is, the white-ish with speckles is called Glitch. The pink and purple and orange is Tale as Old as Time. And both of those and the other 3 skeins I'll be using are from the Disney Yarn of the Month Club by Fangirl Fibers. I'm not going to show the other 3 skeins today just because they're kind of tangled up in there. And if you've been around any length of time, you've seen this, you've heard me talk about it. And hopefully I'll get some work in on this soon too. But I feel like I keep setting myself very ambitious deadlines, so we'll see. But anyways, I'm knitting this on Chowgoo needles. I think this is a size 4. Yep, these are size 4. I knit almost everything on Chowgoos. My Ranunculus is being knit on clovers that are just the bamboo from Joann's or whatever, because it's what I had, but had available at the time I cast on. But I typically like the red lace Chowgoo needles. Those are my absolute favorite. So that is that. Not super exciting, not a lot to say about it. Like I said, yarns by Fangirl Fibers, and that's my Vertices Unite by Stephen West. And I am knitting the larger size. I'm hoping to use up as much of those 5 skeins as I can. All right, we're getting, the pile is looking a little bit smaller. We'll go with this one next. So this is my 1 skein project, which will hopefully use the whole skein. We will see. If not, I might have to rethink that square, which would be okay. But this is my Emerald Turban, and it's by Claire. Let me see if I have a note here that says, probably not. I do not have a note here about that. Okay. Claire someone. Anyways, it's from her book Knitting Vintage, and I talked about this at least a couple of episodes ago. And this was my winter solstice cast on. I have not done anything with it since the last time I showed you. And it's you knit like a long strip, very long strip. And then the pattern tells you how to twist it and seam it to make a turban style headband. So very excited about that. The yarn is by Hannah Made It. And she doesn't, I don't believe, dye anymore, but she is very local to me. I loved her yarn and I still love it, but she doesn't dye anymore. So I have been hoarding a lot of it, and now it's time to use it up and move on. So the colorway is Something Blue. This is in her Dangerous DK base, and it's just 100% merino, squishy, lovely goodness. And I'm knitting these also in clover needles because I was running out of needles close to the end of the year last year, which is another reason I'm very motivated to get some of these WIPs done and off the needles to reclaim my needles. So this is just a size 6 clover bamboo needle, which is totally fine for this project since it's pretty basic. So not a lot to say about that. And it's living in this bag. I know I've talked about it before. I can't think of the bag maker's name, but it's my little Star Wars bag. And this is great for throwing on my wrist and knitting on the go while I'm walking around or whatever, or just throwing in my purse or in my bag when I'm going somewhere so I have something. So anyways, that's my Emerald Turban headband by Claire. I feel so bad. I wish I could think of her last name, but I can't. And it's just a 1 skein project. Okay. Second to last one. This is my Older Than a Year project. You guys have seen this so much. And I am not sure why there is a sock in this bag because that does not go here. Interesting. Anyway, that was okay. This is my 2021 Cozy Up Knits Mystery Knit Along. I think they called this the throwback or throwing it back shawl. And this is the first half or portion, I guess. And this is all Knit Pick Stroll. I believe I said this was Hawthorn last time, and it's not. It is all stroll. This is just a stroll tonal. And that's pearlescent. The yellow is dandelion. Pink is pucker. And the blue is electric blue. So there's the first portion. It's so nice. I really need to finish this. And then I'm close to being done with this other portion. And then you do something in the middle to connect them. So I think I'm on clue 4 of this one, and it's been put aside so that I could work on my last project for my bingo board, which you guys know what it is already, I'm sure. But anyways, there's not a lot to say about that one. I have talked at length about it in previous episodes. You guys are probably so sick of hearing me talk about it. And it's in my little Avengers bag, and this is another one my husband bought for me. So there's that. Not going to hash that out too much. And like I said, that's by Cozy Up Knits. They also, if you haven't, I feel like they're another one everybody knows. If you haven't watched them though, they are so fun. They're so funny. I love watching their YouTube channel. They're sisters from Alberta, Canada, and they design, and they're always getting up to fun things. So lastly, we've almost made it. The last square that we have left on our board is this guy, the shawl. And this is the point. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna wait to show that just a second. Let me show you my finished bingo board. I went through and I did put the pattern names on here. And then digitally, I think what I'm going to do, I saw somebody else do this and I thought it was a great idea, is put, like when I finish something, put the picture of it in the little square so that when it's finished, it's all the pictures of your projects. So this is kind of like a Make 9 board, I guess, but they're all WIPs, so it's like a partially started Make 9, which I sort of like better. Everything's been cast on, which is nice, except for this one, but that's different, or the middle one, that's different. So there's the total. So you can see the Mini Me Mystery Knit Along, this year's Cozy Up Knits Knit Along is what is in this bag. This bag is by, which I can't believe this is the only bag by her out here, Our So Good Life, which is my friend Amy, and I love her bags. I use them all the time. You guys hear me talk about them. If you do not want to see, this is your time to look away. All we have left are stash editions. There's a couple things. So if you don't want to see this and you're not interested in stash editions, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you're working on. Are you working on WIPs? Are you casting on new things? But if you're done, that's totally fine. I am going to show clues 1 and 2, which are out and done. And then this week's clue is clue 3, and I am about halfway through it. So if you don't want to see, look away, look away. I won't talk too much about it. So if you haven't done clue 3, that's okay. You can come back once you hear me get done with this. I'll let you know. This is also yarn by Hannah Made It, and it was part of her 2021 advent calendar, which was based on the Never Ending Story. So I don't know that I'll remember or be able to pronounce all the names of the colors. So I'm going to show this now. Ooh. Also, I've said I was going to put progress keepers in to show you the starts and ends of each clue, and I forgot. But our little crow guy is still on there, so that's fine. So this is clue 1 in its entirety. This is the nothing. This is something and Urgle. I don't remember the name of that. The colorway for this one is Bastion. And it is scrunched up on my needles. I apologize. Clue 2. The Southern Oracle. That's this color. I don't think I remember the name of this one though. And then I'm going to try to show you clue 3 a little closer up here. Where this is very challenging to show. It's all scrunched on my needles. And then this other section here is clue 3, and I'm not quite through it yet. I've got one more mini I need to add in. So that is what I have so far. Like I said, it is even though I'm using, I think these are, the length on these needles I think is 40 inches. It is all scrunched up. This is going to be so big and I love it. And this is, I'm going to hold this up. Sometimes when I film, it's the first time I've really seen, especially this time of year, I don't get to see my knits in natural daylight very often because it's dark when I work outside the home 40 hours a week. So it's dark when I leave and it's dark when I get home. So I don't often get to see them in natural daylight. And sometimes, I don't know if you all are like this, where you're knitting on a project and you're so close to it, you can't see the beauty. Sometimes I'll get discouraged with a project and my husband will pick it up and like walk back. And then I'm like, oh, I see it as a whole and it's so nice. And that's how I'm feeling about this one right now. I haven't really been able to look at it much as a whole, and I think it's going to be really beautiful. I wasn't sure about the two kind of yellowy colors so close together, but I kind of love it. So anyways, that is my progress I've made, which I know I said I hadn't done a ton of knitting, and that's partially true. I don't know about you all. I had planned to enter the new year gently and ease in, and that did not happen. Oh my word. Things just sort of took off, and we've been busier at work than we've been in months, which is awesome. It's great. But there have been a few days that I just couldn't even knit. I just sort of would sit down and be like, oh my goodness, I need time to just absorb. And I didn't have the wherewithal to even pick up my needles for a complex project for very long. So I did knit quite a lot on this though. The crow is where I was the last time. So I'd only had this much done, and now we have all of that, and I cannot spread it out, but there are so many stitches on these needles. It is amazing. So I'm going to put this away for now. And that was the last thing on my bingo board. And if you're waiting, you can come back, you can look, it's away, And those are all of the WIPs that there's other WIPs I'll be focusing on a little bit too, some socks and things like that. I do have a sister-in-law who's expecting a baby later this year, and I'm sure I'll be knitting some baby things. But these are the projects that, at least for right now, I really want to focus on, and I may do some test knitting too at some point. And we all know I'm going to do more mystery knit-alongs. But these kind of align with my goals this year, which were to use up scraps and I didn't get any more done on my scrappy log cabin blanket either. Not really. Just a little, not enough to show. Same thing, just haven't had the energy or like mental energy. 4 sweaters, use up my scraps and minis, and do these WIPs. So everything's kind of working together, and that's really great. All right, stash edition time. I've got 2 things to show. Both are from Fangirl Fibers. Are we surprised? No, we're not surprised at all. This is the last Disney Yarn Club of the month, and it came, mine got kind of bounced around the world a little bit, and then it came like right after I podcasted 2 weeks ago. So I am certain everyone has received theirs, or you've seen it. But this is such a good last one of the year. It is so beautiful. Oh my goodness. Look at those colors. And this is We Know the Way, and it's inspired by Moana, and I just love it. So this was so much fun. If it's in your budget, I would recommend do it for a year. Give that gift to yourself. It was so much fun every month to get that pink mailer in the mail and open it up and have a skein inside. Lots of dyers do different yarn clubs. Some are quarterly, some are just, minis or whatever. But it was really fun. It was really fun. I would totally do one again. I'm just taking a break for this year, I think. And we'll see. She is doing some quarterly clubs though. And if she comes out with a quarterly club that tempts me enough, there's a chance. But, I love it. Love it. So pretty. So there's that one. And then my other stash edition, I pre-ordered a while ago. And this is Clefairy, which is a Pokemon, on her DK weight base. So just 100% superwash merino DK. And I had shown, maybe back in September, a skein I got from Lola Bean Yarn Co. My first and only skein that I've gotten so far from Adela over there. That's like a bluey teal DK with some speckling and stuff. I think they would pair beautifully together in a project. So that was what I had in mind when I ordered this. What project? I don't know. But if you have a good 2 skein DK weight project that those would be good together with, let me know in the comments, because I would love to have a more solid plan for both of those. So again, that's Clefairy and Fangirl Fibers, and this was a pre-order, I don't know, from a month or 2 ago. So that is it. I think that's all I have to share with you. Life update. Like I said, things around here have just been busy. Work has been crazy busy. Life has been a little bit busier as we are forming some new habits for this year. Last weekend, my brother slept over for the weekend, my youngest brother, and we, like I said, we went to the zoo and we did some Pokemon Go and just hung out. I'm also trying to bake more and cook more. I had lost, I don't know, I had some life changes over the last couple of years that took me a while to adjust to, and I've adjusted now, and I feel more energized and like, okay, I can do more of these things that I used to do all the time that I really loved. So I'm doing more baking, doing more cooking, and things like that. Some other random things around the house that I really enjoy doing. So that's all good. But January has really, really taken off. So that's about all my life update. Tomorrow is a Pokemon Go Community Day Classic, so I will be doing that on my lunch break. There was another Community Day 2 Saturdays ago that I also participated in on my lunch break. That was really fun. And that's all I have going on right now in my very immediate future. I've also recommitted to reading. I went through a major reading slump in 2022. I read fewer books that year than I had since, I think, 2015 or 2016. And I normally read around 100 books a year, and I read, I think, 30 something last year. So I have committed to leaving that behind me in 2022 and reading really good books this year. I am already, I think, working on my 6th or 7th book of the year. 7th, I think. And I am posting about that a little bit on Instagram. That's what I've been able to post. So if you are interested, I have those in my stories. I should make a little folder thing on my page there where you can access those if you're interested. Some of the ones I've read recently, I just finished The Sun is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. That one was very good. I know I'm really late to the party on it, but I really liked it. I read The Perfect Marriage, and I can't recall the name of the author. That was a kind of suspense thriller, psychological thriller kind of thing. That one was really good. Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. I believe that was my first read of the year. That was a lovely story. 5 stars. Loved that book. If you're looking for a nice story where you can just fall in love with the characters, that is the one for you. And there's been some other ones that I can't recall off the top of my head right now, but reading more, baking, doing all the things, and knitting up a storm, even though it may not look like it. So that I think that's everything I've got for you all today. So thank you for joining me. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode, and let me know what your goals are for this year. Do you set knitting goals? Do you not set knitting goals? Is there something that you're really excited about knitting this year? Is there a yarn you're excited to work with this year? Oh, I almost forgot. The show I'm going to. February 11th, if you are a local, Wild and Woolly is a smaller but really fun show, and it is at the Cuyahoga County Fairgrounds in Berea, Ohio, which is just around the corner from me. So I will be there with my husband. If you're coming, please, if you see me, say hi. I'd love to meet you. And yeah, I will probably be there earlier. Usually we try to get there right at the beginning. I believe this will be my 3rd time going. So really love that. I cannot wait to see all the vendors. I'm really, really excited. So I'm not sure. I do know one thing I want to look for is yarn for my niece to be borns. I really want to make her a sweater, and I'd like to find some yarn for that. And maybe there was something else, but I don't remember. Probably won't buy a 10 more yarn though. I'm hoping to buy maybe a new project bag or some notions or something like that. But also the best laid plans, you never know. So we'll see. I'm really excited to see everyone that's there though. So that'll be good. And I have another knit night coming up the night before that with some friends. So looking forward to that as well. Amongst actually a lot of other things going on, but those are the yarn involved things. Okay, now for real, I am done. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for watching. I love that you are a part of this community, and I'm really glad that you're here. So I hope that you can find some time to knit in your little corner of paradise, and I will be over here knitting in my little corner of paradise. Bye.